Welcome back. You're still watching Signature TV. You're doing Signature Morning. Earlier, we spoke to Godwin, who is Signature TV correspondent in Abuja, and he gave us some updates about what was going on. He said, as at yesterday, there was no protest because there was heavy downpour of rain, and the day before, there was apparently the security agencies earlier this morning have taken charge of most streets, especially the suburb of Inyanya and Maraba axis of Abuja. We're connecting back to him to give us an update on what's going on in Abuja. Good to have you, Godwin. Good morning once again.
Charles, good morning. All right, so good to join you once again on the show. And Abuja is interesting this morning, like I said before. Now it's a very warm morning. The weather, it's as if it wants to rain again. Probably, one would say that the politicians at this point are calling for more rains so that the protesters can stay in their houses. But be that as it may, this morning in Abuja, we are still getting our facts and to know what's going on in Marwa Access. And we understand that there is going to be a protest this morning from coming in from Maraba and Nyanya Access in Abuja. So we're still keeping our fingers crossed that the crowds are gathering as well as the rain is also coming. So we hope that the protest will hold from that access. But from MKO Abiola Stadium this morning, there's no protest inside. Rather, we're having still security presence, heavy security presence on the MKO Abiola access part, access of Abuja this morning. Not forgetting also everywhere in Abuja there is a heavy security presence coming in from Zuba this morning. On that, before you get to under the bridge in Zuba this morning, coming in that if you're coming in from Kaduna, that and Niger State, there's heavy security presence on that access this morning, and it's something that we really need to look into. Also, why do we have a lot of security presence along that access? Right now, what happened is that they've been able to narrow down the traffic on that path into one. So if you're coming in from that access, you'll be forced to go through one access because the security presence, the security men and uniform personnel have been able to cordon the road into one path. And that's what's happening in almost every part of Abuja. Now, if you're coming in from Nyanya also, they've been able to control the road to one access. So every motorist have to go through one path in Abuja. But I would say that we also have a situation coming in from Dugbe that is from Kogi State. You're coming in from Kogi State from Kwali down security presence on that access in the Federal Capital Territory this morning. And we're still keeping our fingers crossed that we'll get a little bit of a more pragmatic approach by the security operatives and not make it look like a near war situation in the Federal Capital Territory this morning because we have a situation here where if you're on a motorcycle, you have to come down in the motorcycle from the motorcycle. You have to join to walk down and pass through the security and the checkpoints of the security personnel. They have to walk down on that access. So we're hoping that they will be able to um, go a little bit water down the security presence in the Federal Capital Territory. Let people at least able to express themselves without any form of intimidation from any quarter. But that's what we have this morning on the Federal Capital Territory as regards the entire protest and the planned protest in the country in Abuja this morning, especially as we hit the 8th.
All right. It looks quite interesting from your end, given this update. But I'm just wondering, you had highlighted that earlier the Nyanya and Maraba axes are actually one of the places that are flashpoints of this protest. You also mentioned Suleja outwards Mina and inward Abuja also as one of the flashpoints of the protests. But so far in the last few hours, is there any development in those areas? Are protesters building up in that area, or is still as calm as you reported earlier?
All right, so far it's still as calm as reported earlier. But what we have right now is that the rain is about to be an outpour again. So we don't know if this outpour is going to deter these the protesters from coming out because And that's but so far so good. It's still come within the Federal Capital Territory. Yeah, so that's what we're saying here. If it doesn't rain, then we hope to see probably a protest, as what was said yesterday from I think from Yanya axis of the Federal Capital Territory. But if it doesn't rain, then it means that we will. If it does rain, I beg your pardon. If it does rain, there might be it might stifle the protest. But if it doesn't rain, we might have a protest in the Federal Capital Territory today.
All right. So, what about the updates regarding the DSS and the NLC? Peter Obi, Atiku have both condemned. Some other organizations have condemned the raid by DSS, well, security agencies, on the office of the NLC. What about updates on that? Have there been any development regarding that?
All right. So as of this morning, there is still nobody to interact with in the NLC office this morning because the NLC chairman has asked every all staff to leave the premises in order for them to understand what the security operatives are trying at aiming at. You may use this word. They want to understand what they are aiming at. So if they've been able to infiltrate, if they've been able to plant any substance or any material in the NLC headquarters, incriminating material in the NLC headquarters, they should know. So the security operator should come and check what they've planted there. So yes, that's all security operatives. So if the NLC head office this morning is deserted, we don't have people around there to even talk with. So when you get to the place is scanted this morning. And but on the other hand, recall that the DSS have said that they are not part of this. They were not the people that raided, that organized the Labour Congress. And although most politicians have come out to condemn the act of raid in the DSS headquarters and the NLC headquarters without any form of injunction from court or a warrant from the court. But then again, we've also tried to establish contact with the DSS to know what's the update on this matter, and it has still remained the same that they cannot authoritatively speak on this matter to the few DSS operators that we've gotten in contact with, because the spokesperson of DSS has already come out to make an official statement. But we're looking at it also. It's a week that is a very funny week so far. The Nigerian police, in the course of the week, has come out to say, hey, there was no lethal weapon that was used on protesters. Then thereafter, along Zaria, we still found out that the Nigerian army allegedly made a donation or for the boy that lost his life in that protest. That said the boy was allegedly shot in that protest. That's on the one hand. So it has been a week of discovery and denial and counter denial, claims and counterclaims from all parts of the country this morning. So DSS is coming out yesterday to say, hey, on Wednesday attack, we're not part of it. It's still born to the fact that it's a week of denials and a week of claiming and disproving what has been claimed so far. But we don't know. But so far, the DSS operator that we've spoken with have said that they don't know about this and they are not authorized to even speak about it. So, which means that from the point of the DSS and the standpoint of the DSS still remains that this is still not an operation that was carried out by the DSS, except the Nigerian Labour Congress can come out authoritatively to showcase some of the videos that was captured by its CCTV in its premises. Then we can confirm if the operatives that came in, or if we have the security man on ground, or the security operative that were on duty the other day before when the DSS came to raid the space, would have been able to interact with him. But as it stands this morning, the place is under serious locks and there's no operations going on there this morning. That's the update so far coming in from that NLC issue this morning. But we will still set out and still give you more information because we believe so much that if there is nobody on the DSS space this morning to talk to us, but definitely there are people that witnessed what happened in that day, because I don't think it's a midnight affair. It should be. It's not a midnight affair. So we should have people that saw or witnessed some men operatives, security operatives trooping in and out. So we're hoping to speak with passerbys and also neighbors within that space to get us more facts on what has transpired.
Okay, I mean, do you think that the CCTV will be released,
Yeah. Oh,
given the
yeah.
peculiarity of the issue?
Yeah.
The security agencies decided to come in at night at 8:30, and part of the reasons I'm sure probably would be, even if the CCTV catches them, it might not be very clear, and anybody can deny anything if their faces are not showing on the CCTV. So I'm wondering if you think that the NLC would be open to releasing the CCTV showing that it is security agencies, and DSS also don't usually go around with that kind of operation with their uniform with DSS written on it. And I'm was wondering from your end, do you think that the NLC would in any way try to prove beyond reasonable doubt that it was DSS that raided that particular building?
So from my end, I think that even if they're not going to prove beyond reasonable doubt, but at least to a certain height, they should prove beyond all shadows of doubt that it was the DSS that actually came to raid their space. Because this allegation, it is a very strong allegation. So when you come out to say, hey, the security operatives came to invade our space without any form of warrant, we should also be bold enough to say, hey, I have clips, I have footage that suggests or shows that this persons that came to raid my space are security operatives and are members, are operatives of the DSS. So they should be able to give us something to ascertain their claims. Because looking at it from a very broader perspective, this is an illegal activity, if you like to use that word. An illegal activity has been carried out on the premise of the Nigerian Labour Congress. If you say you think that there is something that is incriminating, that shows that they are sponsoring the protest, something that shows that their act is sponsoring or supporting the protest and vandalization of properties and the threat to lives in Nigeria, you should be able to also, NLC on that part, this is a very strong allegation. That's why allegedly DSS came to invade the space. So we should be able to also get a feedback, a concrete feedback to say, hey, these are the people that came to invade the space. Whether it's clear or not, let us do the forensic on that on that analysis. Let them allow us do those forensic and do most of those details on the videos and the shot of the CCTV. But I know the modern CCTV has some form of inner light to show who comes into the space and who goes out. So we're hoping that they will be able to make such information and video clips available so that we'll also be able to balance the story and also ascertain and allow our viewers to make informed decisions when it has to do with the invasion of the DSS premises.
All right, the senator representing FCT, Senator Ireti Kingibe, recently released a statement saying that she supports the protest to the extent of the fact that it's not chaotic and it's not destroying properties. But the FCT minister read that as somewhat that he may have identified somebody or a senator who was basically supporting or maybe sponsoring the protesters. Do you think, the chaos amongst these two personalities is what is exacerbating some of the issues that we're facing in the FCT?
All right, so it's a laughable one in the Federal Capital Territory. We've had Ireti Kinjibe and the FCT minister and the person have been here some weekend. They've been at loggerhead for a while now about a lot of issues. So I'm beginning to ask questions like, Ireti Kinjibe has come out to say, hey, it's possible that this protest is peaceful, as long as it is peaceful, I will support the protest that is peaceful. What you're calling for is not out of the normal. It's a normal thing to demand for good governance, which everybody will want to support. But on the other hand, Wike is saying that, hey, I've done so, I'm doing so much, and the All Progressive Congress is doing so much for the people of the Federal Capital Territory as such. We shouldn't be having protests in the Federal Capital Territory. So it has become like a twist in the Federal Capital Territory right now. But I don't think that this is one of the things that is fueling the various protests across the state, across the capital, the Federal Capital Territory. I don't think so. What I think is that for the fact that people within the various divisions of the Federal Capital Territory have not been able to enjoy some level of good governance, it can trigger some form of protest across. Now, if you're coming in from Jikoi, Peggy, Caro, Kudu, Orozo, and what have you, if you get to those places, the only development they've experienced so far in terms of dividends of democracy has been the major road that leads you to that access. But because there is no other development that has entered that access, if you get to their general their health center, which is at Nyanya, that's another development that has come to that space. But inside Orozo, taking it down to what they call it, to other part of that access, there is actually no development on that space, no road. Their water is appalling, and any other thing from that access. Now let's go back again to Lube access, which you also have when you have the Kuje. Now, when you get to Kuje, you now realize that just the major development in Kuje is the road that again leads you to Kuje. So one begins to ask, do we major developments and governmental development in the Federal Capital Territory in terms of road constructions and development? Because that's the same thing Wike is doing right now. Wike is just constructing roads. But looking at human capital development within the Federal Capital Territory, Federal Capital Territory is still 10 years behind, if you like to use that word. You're still 10 years behind on the Federal Capital Territory because there is no concrete human capital development within the Federal Capital Territory. Now, all development are now centered around the central business district of the federal. Now, this will support some of the claims by Ireti Kindibe that, hey, we are calling for good governance. Even she is calling for good governance because that has been a mantra when she was campaigning for the office of the Senate. Now, Wike on the other hand is saying, if you're saying this and you're part of the government, then you're part of the people that are fueling this protest. But I think that two of them have to come together for the benefit of the FCT. They have to put their differences aside and look at it how to move the FCT forward.
All right, Godwin Sunday, many thanks for your input. We truly appreciate you for that. It's a great reporting from your end. See you next time.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're headed for a very short break. When we return, we'll go straight into entertainment. Do stay with us. This is A Signature Morning.